All right. You're listening to the Dead Man's Tone podcast, a show broadcast live from a trailer park deep in the heart of Meth County, Texas. I say that a lot. You think I'm joking, but I'm actually very serious. There's crystal everywhere over here. I'm Mr. Deadman, your host. With me is SK Barrett, a life coach that can unfuck your life if you let him. And Tammy G is out again. I don't know what's going on anymore. I hope she's okay. I think we might have to do a wellness check. I mean, she is getting pretty close with Michael Myers.
Are we trying to get her shot?
I don't know. Is she okay?
Tammy, are you okay? Yeah, she says she's fine.
Oh, she's with you. That's what's going on. Okay. I'm glad it works. I hope you're having a great time, having a fun time. How's it feel to be a Chad? It feel pretty good? Yeah, man. So tonight we're talking incels. We're talking incels. And man, well,
what?
I'm sorry.
Can we start off with something really basic on this?
Yeah.
Everybody is an incel when they're not getting it on a regular basis.
Is that for real? Wait a second. Does that make me an incel?
No. I mean, when you're in between partners, you're celibate against your wishes, right?
Yeah. I mean,
yeah.
In a way, yeah.
So, that being said, it's not the same as what we're going to talk about. I just wanted this distinction.
Okay. So
I mean, you could. The term could be applied to everybody at certain phases and stages of their life, but these guys are in a special class. And by special, I mean special.
Very special. We'll cover that tonight. So that's the main question tonight. What is an incel? Some general advice about incel or for incels. And talk about like incels in fiction and real life examples and things like that. First, I want to open up with, why are we even covering this? This is October Blitz. Where's the horror? Where's the writing? I can't think of anything more horrific, actually I can, than being an incel. I mean, as far as other horrific things, maybe like ass cancer, lung cancer, something that's actually horrific to go through. An incel to me is like something that can be fixed through like perspective or life experience, maybe help with advice, therapy. I don't know.
Maybe one worse thing, and that would be being an incel with the clap.
Yeah. It's like, how did you get that? Your hand gave it to you. Jesus fucking Christ, man. Incels, man, incels. So, is Harry Potter an incel?
All right, so let's make sure let's start off with some definitions.
Okay.
Incel stands for involuntary celibate.
Okay. Well, I mean, Harry Potter, well, actually, he did get a wife, so I guess he's not an incel then.
Did he? Well,
yeah, he got a wife later on.
Through his teen years, he was all pining over the girl, right? Who ended up going with what's his name?
Don't ask me. I don't know. But I do know
the other guy.
I do know that Severus Snape is definitely an incel. That's for sure.
So one of the important criteria in being an incel is obsession.
Yeah.
And not just pining, but obsessing.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah. You gotta have that obsessive element.
Everybody's got their crushes, whether they're fictional or real life crushes.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's that cute girl in accounting or whatever.
Yeah. Crushes are normal. That's going to happen.
There's Elizabeth Hurley. There's, you name it. Kristen Bell. She's a real cutie.
Yeah.
But there's a difference between having, say, a celebrity crush and shooting John Lennon.
Right.
To try and impress your crush. or was it the one who shot Reagan? I can't remember.
I don't remember
One of
either.
them was obsessed over Jodie Foster.
Was it?
I think it was the one who shot Reagan.
Ah, I think you're right
He
about
was
that.
obsessed. He was obsessed with Jodie Foster, and he, for some reason, believed that this would impress her.
Okay, that's one way to go about it. Yeah.
Well, you see, this is, so obsession and fantasy.
Mhm.
They create these make believe relationships in their fucking heads that
Yeah.
have nothing to do with reality,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Makes sense. They're obsessed with it. They in a way that's unhealthy. In their head, they have a whole relationship with the person. They're fixated. Yeah.
They think that the object of their obsession is sending them secret messages. Sometimes, it could be lines of dialogue in a movie, or
Mhm.
in
Yeah.
real life, it could be like, he's stalking her at school, kind of thing, and she does something with her hair, and he thinks, oh, she's signaling to me,
Right.
because that's the thing that she needs to be. But she doesn't have any clue, right?
Huh.
Obviously. And it's just all this made up shit, these imaginary connections, imaginary bullshit.
Hmm.
Yeah. And if you don't watch that shit, you end up in jail, guys.
Right. They'll they'll do things. Call the police. Come on, man, or get mace in the face.
Yeah.
Now, what's interesting about this is that
Yeah.
apparently incel, the term, was actually created by a woman. A woman created this term. A Canadian woman at that. So blame Canada.
Oh, Canada.
Fucking Maple Leafs. I'm just joking. No, but seriously. 1993, a Canadian university student named Elena created a website to discuss her sexual inactivity called Elena's Involuntary Celibacy Project. And it was nice, innocent. People go there to talk about their celibacy. Okay. But then in 2014, however, the term took a darker meaning when Elliot Rodger, a narcissistic, murderous little motherfucker, and I say that as if I know the guy. I crossed paths with him a few times. Shot up Isla Vista, and was glorified by some of the incel community. I mean,
Right.
idolized. So that's when things went dark. And I know incel has now become something more than just sexless, more than just a virgin. It's
Quite angry.
yeah, like the frustration it gets channeled inward into anger and then released outward. It's
Yeah, and that's a key element of this movement, or whatever the hell you want to call it. And it's very outward focused. It's rather than saying, "Hey, this is my current condition.
Right.
I don't have a partner. It's just a fact of life." It's now pointing fingers and blaming other people.
huh. That sounds like something people do. Blaming other people for their problems.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
I call it using the blame thrower.
Right. I like that.
Yeah.
Flamethrower.
You scorch everybody with blame except yourself.
And you know what happens too when like in this particular case, incels start off so innocent and nice, but then because of those people got together and were like voicing their first off idolizing Elliot Rodger and letting that be the moment to come out with their misogyny and things like that. And when I say that, I actually mean that term. That term I usually cringe when I hear it, misogyny, being like, "Oh, are you sure you know what that means?" But it actually, you see it here with some people, with some incels. That coming out, I think we pretty much ruined it. I mean, now it's incel. It's like sexless, frustrated, anger, self-loathing, violent, yeah, pity. Oh, it's pathetic. I mean, it's like...
Yeah, because, nothing turns a woman on more than pointing the finger of blame at them and getting angry at them.
Right?
That'll change her mind.
Oh.
I see this bullshit, this kind of bullshit all the time. Going back to early, back when I was online dating and all, Facebook and all this bullshit. Guys try to connect with a woman, although I don't know. They do really stupid shit trying to quote unquote connect with a woman.
Well, yeah.
And they do stupid shit that doesn't work. Then they get mad when it doesn't work.
Well, that's gonna happen. Like people are gonna make a move and not the mad part, but make a move and it fails. That part's normal. Like you make a move and it fails, but that part's understandable. But the getting mad at who? Getting mad at the woman for not taking your advance? That part is where that's the difference. That right there.
Yes.
Like the person who when they're rejected and they get mad at that's the person who has incel in their blood. Okay, they need to fix that because they have incel potential. Right?
Absolutely. Tammy wants to know who this guy is on the screen.
Oh, that is the chosen face of incels. His name is actually it's Black Ops 2 Cell, known as Saint Black Ops 2 Cell, a man whose photo the incels have taken as an icon of their community. His name and origins of his image are unclear, but incels have defied him as the embodiment.
Deified?
Yeah.
You mean deified?
Sorry, deified. I'm sorry. I can't believe this is happening. They deify this guy of what an incel looks like. All right, this is your incel. You see this? This is an incel. And the crazy thing about incels, man, like
it doesn't have to be. Right?
It doesn't. Like this guy, if you see someone who looks like this, he may not actually be an incel. He actually might be fine. Like I was believe it or not, a helpless, video game addicted, anime watching virgin who didn't score at all throughout middle school, high school, and all that. Right?
College.
Oh, hey. Hey, that's what I started realizing. Wait a second, maybe I should put these games away and start doing something with my life.
Several careers.
But I didn't lash out towards women. I didn't hate women for my virginity. Like it was like because I had the controller in my hand. Get rid of that shit. Go out there, start having some life experience. Start just talking, just engaging, just getting out there, and boom, guess what? It happens. It's amazing.
Yeah. Right. So there's so many things wrong with the entire incel mentality, and it makes it difficult to even know where to start.
Yeah.
But let's see. Where's a good place to start? Oh, how about this? There's no playbook for women. There's no instruction manual.
What?
There's no step-by-step guide. Well, there's going to be. I'm writing it, but okay, that's
well,
actually, I am actually writing a section in my next book. It's called the instruction manual for women, and the joke is that there's no instruction manual.
Tammy says, "Find the clit and you're good." That's pretty much it, guys.
But Tammy, I'm talking about getting you up to that point.
Yeah, an incel doesn't even know how to start a conversation, even to get there, right?
Absolutely.
They think, and I kid you not, I'm taking this from just one example.
I mean, there's nothing wrong with that advice, but
Yeah.
There are a lot of steps before you get to that point.
Yes. And one thing,
and go ahead.
I was gonna say, in Elliot Rogers' example, and this is based on his manifesto, he believed just being near women, just sitting at a cafe, and just being there, that should be enough. He shouldn't have to do anything more. The women should come to him because the way he looks, and the fact that they weren't.
Well, the problem with that, yeah. So there's that entitlement thinking, right?
Yeah.
Right. That's entitlement. Like his existence should have women coming to him.
Yeah.
Well, if he dropped the fucking attitude, they might.
Right.
It's paradoxical, almost, but the thinking that women should come to you just because how you look, will make them not come to you. But if you stop thinking that, they just might. And in fact, one of my strongest recommendations is don't chase women at all.
For the most part, yeah. I mean, Tammy might say otherwise. I don't know. We'll get into that too. I mean, there's some women.
I'm saying.
I mean, there's dudes that get the. There's dudes that definitely get the ladies coming to them. Like it's like it seems like anyway, just by appearance alone. Like if you're someone who's like a Tyrone or something, or a Chad, you're probably gonna.
Yeah. One of my friends from a writing seminar is this, 6'3" model looking guy. And, guess what? He didn't have any troubles.
Of course. Of course.
Waitresses were slipping him their numbers during lunch and shit like that.
Mm-hmm.
And he ended up actually marrying a model.
See?
So that doesn't mean I should expect that.
True.
I mean, I'm not a bad-looking guy. I'm not horrible. I don't look like that fucker with the game T-shirt.
SK, you have those rugged good looks. That's what's going on there.
But
okay.
The thing that here's the thing that I figured out when I was doing online dating, which is
horrible.
It's horrible. It's a horrible system. Do not do online dating. But I did it because I was didn't know what else to do at the time. And one of the things I learned is women get hit on all the fucking time.
Oh, yeah. Imagine. Well, not all women. There are Beckys out there. There's Beckys and there's Stacy's. Let me make sure I got this lingo right. I think Stacy's. Beckys don't get hit on a whole lot. But Stacy's, they get on all the time, apparently.
Tammy says she doesn't get hit on. But, okay,
bullshit.
That's...
Bullshit. I'm sorry.
See, she doesn't even hear it when I do it.
Press X to doubt. By the way, for definition purpose, a Stacy is someone who's used to. A Stacy is a woman who gets around a lot. Apparently, has sex with a lot of men, usually Chads. So, and is stereotypically airheaded, unintelligent, beautiful, promiscuous. There's nothing wrong with Stacy's. There's a place in the world for Stacy's.
Yeah, thank God for them.
Yeah, right. Stacy's and Chads make the world go round.
So, but my point being is that it's a lot simpler of a game. And, I'm using game in a very broad sense. It's a lot simpler of a game if you lead an interesting life and watch for the women who show interest in you,
mm-hmm.
and then pursue those women.
Right.
The hot chicks, they got their pick.
Mm-hmm.
They've got guys. They're swatting them away like flies all day long, and frankly, it's exhausting to them.
I
From
imagine
from the
so.
stuff that it is exhausting. They get tired of that bullshit, and if you come up there with your, Omega man, you're just some Omega dweeb in a gaming T-shirt and no chest.
What? You mean if you wear a gaming shirt, it's not cool?
Uh, Maybe to
You mean my
some,
Mario
but
shirt's not going to get me laid?
maybe at a furry convention. I don't know.
Hey, yeah, maybe. But those people,
Um,
I mean, those people fuck
I'm
anything.
saying, there's a context for everything and for everybody. But if you're going up to some chick who is hot and knows she's hot,
Mm-hmm.
and you're looking like that poster boy, how far is he going to get with her?
Yeah, not very far. Not very
Because
far.
she's got her pick, frankly.
Mm-hmm.
And then he gets all angry
Mm-hmm.
because the hot chicks are turning him down. Well, stop going after the same chicks that everybody else is going after.
Do you think they do that because
Improve,
narcissism,
improve
right?
your odds. Well, no, I think it's not narcissism necessarily, but I mean, yeah, hot chicks are hot chicks. Everybody thinks they're hot.
Mm-hmm.
There's no secret. Everybody thinks they're hot. Half
Right?
all the straight guys and half of the chicks think they're hot. You know, that's no secret. It's a seller's market. So improve your odds by finding someone who shows interest in you.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. I like that.
Right?
Now, no, the thing is though, one thinking, like people have these high standards. Like a lot of these guys, it sounds like they have this expectation that they're gonna get like a 9, right? But it's like, dude, you need to lower down a little bit, okay? Maybe settle for like a 7.
Well,
In,
it all depends what you bring to the table. And honest to God, it really is not all about looks once you get past high school or college.
true, true. But
It's
I would
really
think these incel
women
types are
have
about the looks.
women have a
Sorry.
very complicated and variable list of criteria. It really does depend on where they are in their cycle. I'm not saying that to be mean or anything. There's studies. There are actual studies that they, certain parts of their cycle, they are after the manly man with the muscles. And that's just what gets them going. And it doesn't matter what they're interested in other parts of the month.
Mm.
It's just, and it's not conscious at all. They're just like, woohoo, muscles, right? And the rest of the time they can be, ooh, I want a nerdy guy, but for a week or so, it's all about the muscles.
And of course, at the same time, when we talk about this, there are chicks that are, I guess, maybe have more nerdy or geeky interests.
Sapiosexuality is a very real thing.
Mm.
That is people who are sexually aroused by intellect.
Yeah.
It's a real thing. Thank goodness there is. And here's it. It's not to say that a dork can't land a hot chick.
Mm-hmm.
First of all, if you look on a bell curve, a normal distribution of, say, physical attraction, just by the normal distribution, there's going to be a lot fewer 8s, 9s, and 10s in the world, just statistically speaking, to choose from. There's just not as many.
Yeah.
And from that already diminished pool of potential partners, You then have to weed out all the ones that aren't even going to look at you
Mm-hmm.
to be with. And then you end up limiting your options to such a degree that you're just setting yourself up for failure.
That's right. Even like I was into video games a lot and anime and stuff like that. And for those who are like some of the incels, and that's part of their problem. They're in tapped to these geek cultures, if you will, and there's not much of a selection. But there's also, of course, you have the narcissism, not really narcissism, but they just don't go out there and hit on, or at least try. And if they do and they fail, they get really angry and they lash out. But my thing is with I just want to tell them, if in case any incels are listening, that if, let's say you watch a lot of anime, play a lot of video games, and that's your thing, okay, I would recommend to maybe take a break away and maybe go out and try to meet women, or honestly, online dating, or sorry, dating now is different, but just go someplace where you can actually meet and interact with people, especially women, right? But if you're like, man, I really want to meet someone who's like really into anime and playing games, you can do that now. I mean, you can go to an anime convention, but I mean, from my experience, it just because of what it is, the selection is very, very small, and the women that are there probably already have a boyfriend, or maybe I don't know,
and that's why they're there.
Yeah, they're there because of the boyfriend. It's.
Yeah, branch out.
Branch out.
Be living an interesting life does not mean getting the high score on your fucking video game.
Right? And I say that from experience, because when I played a lot of video games during that time, of course I was trying to get a girlfriend around. This is kind of embarrassing, but high school, I had a few girlfriends, but dude, it was so crazy. It was so pathetic. I actually chose video games over a girl this one night. I can't believe I made that decision. I would if I go back in time, I would kick my ass.
That's like a fucking
incel move.
That's such a trope.
It is.
They actually did that on Big Bang Theory at one time.
Well, I lived that life a little bit. Okay, I'm not ashamed to admit it. It's funny now, but I know, like, the reason why I didn't really get a girlfriend, though, is because I wasn't really trying, and I wasn't even. First off, there weren't any girls like in the circles I was in, because it was mostly dudes playing these games and watching this stuff, the anime, whatever. So that was the other problem, right? So like branch out, and if you do get a rejection, don't take it to heart. It's okay. But I think, how do you even talk to a woman, SK? How do you even talk to a woman? Right?
Well, okay, two parts to this. One is let's deal with the rejection part first, because you got to get over that if you're ever going to have a conversation. All right. So the thing that makes you turn up the anxiety when you're approaching a woman to talk is fear of rejection. Mm-hmm. And that fear, the better looking she is, the higher that anxiety goes. Right?
Yeah. That's right.
And
especially if you have a huge crush on her. Oh man, especially if you've been watching her, not creepy like, but you've been like, man, I love this about her, that, whatever.
Right. Just say paying attention, not stalking, but just paying attention.
Yeah.
Right.
Noticing, observing.
Noticing.
Yeah.
Not like keeping a fucking notebook.
No, that's crazy. That's like serial killer levels. That's like Norman Bates level shit or whatever. Crazy, man.
If you know her schedule, you're paying way too much attention.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Knock that shit off.
Yeah.
Dial it the fuck back. So there's a really interesting thing there, and I think you can find some YouTube video on it, and it's a brilliant idea, and I've heard it in other contexts, but there's a video out there about a guy who decides to get rejected. He goes out purposely to get rejected 100 times
Okay.
in order to get over his fear of rejection. So that's what you have to do. You have to stop being afraid of being rejected. And part of what goes into that is that you set up in your mind some kind of expectation. And you get attached to this idea. Like
Yeah.
and you know, like this instant replay of the future, like, oh, I'm gonna go over there, I'm gonna say hi, we're gonna have this conversation, and she's gonna play with her hair, and she's gonna giggle, and then I'm gonna ask her out for coffee, and then we'll date, and then we'll get engaged, and we'll move to, you know, New York, and you know, all this shit's got built up, and you haven't even said hi to her yet.
Right? And at that level, dude, that's way too far. If you're doing that, you're living a life in your head. This is actually kind of sound like the Joker in the Joker
you
movie.
go down that road beyond, I'm just going to say hi to her and see what happens. And put this into perspective, all right? The whole point of dating is to get information. And the information that you're after is, do each of you want to see each other again?
Mm-hmm.
That's the point of every fucking date. Okay? And so when you approach a woman for the first time,
yeah,
the point is to get that same information. Do you want to see each other again?
Yeah. Are you
That's
interested?
It.
You want to?
Whole point.
Yeah.
That's the only objective. Do you want to see each other again?
Now this is different from just a one night stand. One night stands are different, right? I mean,
yeah,
they usually. Okay.
Yeah. Well, I mean, do you want to see each other, you know, later?
yeah. Maybe not.
But
it's like, no, I don't know. It depends.
Okay, so, you know, do you want to keep? So it's a little bit different. But if you have the mentality that you're just after information, and that information is, you know, do you want to keep seeing each other?
Yeah.
Then suddenly the risk level is way down.
Right.
It's information. You just after information. She's got a choice. You've got a choice.
Man, this almost sounds like it applies to other things where you hype it up, you build it up, and your anxiety just increases.
Yeah, we do. We get super attached to imaginary outcomes that we build up in our heads.
Right?
I mean, I've heard of accounts, I've read accounts, firsthand accounts of like a guy. Hey, there was this girl, and I asked her out. She said yes, and so I took her to this expensive restaurant.
Why?
And she all this expensive food. This first date, for fuck's sake. And then she didn't want to. She didn't kiss him. She didn't want to see him again.
Mm-hmm.
And he was so angry about it. It's like she didn't owe you anything.
Yeah, dude. You can spend that much money. Might as well just get a prostitute if that's what you wanted. If you just wanted sex, you could just done that. I mean, anyway. Someone in the chat, Raphael saying, "Oh, you still haven't." These guys are talking out of their asses. Talking out of our asses. I think we covered this. Incels are sexless people who are very frustrated and angry, right? Because they can't look. The frustration built up to a level to where they channel it outward, lashing out at women because they have this expectation like they're owed sex, right? They're not owed sex. No one owes them anything. Like someone like Elliot Roger thinks he can just stand there or sit around and expect women to come to him. Yeah.
I mean,
so what exactly did we miss?
The reason why he thinks I'll tell you why he thinks that women should come to him, and it only partially is it narcissism. The other part is he's a scared little weenie.
Mm-hmm.
He's afraid to go talk to him.
That's true too, and I can say that once again on personal experience. I can't go into detail due to HIPAA laws, but let's just say, fate would have it that guy was at a facility before, and I worked at that facility. That's all.
No, really.
Yeah, he was at a facility for that for psych things. He was only there for a little bit, briefly. Should have stayed there a little bit longer, but it was actually in the adult. I guess he was the age that it was when he was there, but he didn't get into trouble. Like he would do everything that was told. He would follow the rules and all that. But of course he wasn't hitting on chicks there either. He thought he was a player though. He thought he was suave as shit, but no.
So here's one of the problems. One of the other problems with incels and other guys who struggle with meeting women who aren't all the way down that rabbit hole.
Right.
Qualify as incels who are just struggling, right? But they're not the assholes that the incels are.
Mm-hmm.
And that is the whole they lack domain knowledge.
Yeah, I agree with that.
In other words, they really don't know anything about women except they're pretty and they want to fuck them.
That's it.
The sum total of their knowledge, right? And they hear, and then you compound that with the urban legends, if I may, of pickup artist bullshit.
Yeah.
Or the stories that they hear around the locker rooms or playgrounds or wherever, where the braggarts are.
Yeah.
Who are probably lying anyway, but they don't know that.
Mm-hmm.
And so they come to a very warped and misguided view of what it takes to attract a woman.
Yeah, because they let it get to their head.
Well, they have very little information, and what the information they do have is wrong.
That's right, and misguided.
And so they everything they try this stuff that they have been told will work. And one of the selling points, I did some research into pickup artist stuff many years ago, and one of the selling points is this will work on any woman anytime.
Okay.
We have figured out the magic code to women, and if you follow our steps, our process, you can have any woman anytime. Well, even they don't get any woman.
By the way, I think Raphael's a hashtag not all incels. We said that in the beginning. We said that in a way we're all incels, like between I guess relationships, if you will.
Yeah.
Okay.
We all go through periods of that. We're talking about the more.
We're talking about the most extreme, severe ones. Like we're not talking about just virgins, sexless virgin. Hell, I was a sexless virgin before. We all were. Everyone was a sexless virgin before, right? Come on, bro. All right, sorry. I had to clarify something.
Sure. Yeah. So many young men come up and grow up with these really, really wrong ideas, and they don't know they're wrong. And if they do come to the idea that maybe all that bullshit that they heard was actual bullshit,
yeah,
we're going to go for better information.
Well, not 4chan. Probably not. I mean, I don't know, man. If they stay on the internet and go to certain forums or other places, and especially if they're talking to other people who struggle to,
Yeah, it's. Let me
with
tell you
women.
something. It's not complicated. Okay, first of all, as we were saying earlier,
yeah,
nothing works for every woman. Nothing works for every woman. There is no magic formula. Okay?
what about the
So
clit?
I'm talking about getting to that point.
Oh, that's right. Sorry.
And if nothing works for every woman, you have to find someone who's gonna like you back. And so
Yeah.
This is what women are always attracted to, guys who are interesting. And being interesting does not just mean, ooh, I think you're cute.
Yeah.
No.
They have to have an interest in you.
Yeah.
And you can get
So
that through talking to them, like getting them to talk.
Well,
right?
That's the key to conversation. But eventually, they're going to ask about you. And what the fuck are you going to say?
You got to lie a little bit.
Well, no, you better not.
Well,
because found out.
You gotta play it up a little bit. You gotta sell it. You gotta sell it.
No,
that's my advice. You gotta sell it a little bit.
No, I'm gonna say bad idea.
Oh, okay. Well, if you play video games all day, I think you kind of have to sell it a little bit. Sorry, Oh man, I'm trying to max up my guy. Wow.
You're making my point for me.
And
that is, okay, if that's your story is, well, I play video games. Oh, I'm a mod on a video game. That's a very short conversation, and she's gonna get bored.
Yeah. I mean, I would start with talking about her, asking her questions about herself. That's how I would start.
What point? Listen to me. It doesn't matter what point in a relationship you are in. If she gets bored, you're toast.
That is true.
It could be your first conversation, but it will definitely be in your last one.
Could even be in your marriage. Look at that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, man.
So the point is, there is an old fable. I don't know what the right word for it is. There's this idea that if you want to catch a butterfly, don't go chasing butterflies, but sit in a field and wait for one to land on your shoulder. And it's the same kind of thing with women. If you make women the cake of your life, you're going to be disappointed all day long, and you're going to be frustrated and angry. But if you lead an interesting life, and that's your cake,
okay,
and then a woman can be the
I got a question for you though. I got a question because so women have to be interested in you. You have to make them interested in you.
Yeah.
Okay.
No,
now,
you can't make.
Well, you can't make them, but okay. We're arguing about the definition of the word, but okay. So if you're someone who let's say you just play video games all day or watch anime or you're into more geek stuff, how would you go about that?
Do something, branch out.
Okay, when you say branch out, like you mean start a new hobby in cars or something, or what are we talking
about? Learn ballroom dancing, because you know what? There's never enough guys who dance. Chicks love guys who can dance.
Well, okay. Ballroom dance. Oh, that's new.
Tango is sexy as fuck, right? And I don't know, learn to tango. It's a cool dance.
Well, there's there's truth to that. I mean, if you're dancing with them, you're probably gonna definitely get it.
No,
That's for sure.
Learning to lead in a dance will teach you a lot about how to operate in a relationship, because it's one big fucking metaphor for how to relate to a woman.
Mm-hmm.
Have a strong frame and lead, which means don't tell, but you indicate your direction, your intention, and you invite her to follow along. But you can't be confusing. You can't be ambiguous, so she won't know where you're going.
And part of that advice is tough for some people, especially if they're like, let's say they play a lot of video games and do a lot of more geek things, whatever. It's be like, you mean I have to change my whole life? I have to do something new? But what about the girls that are into that stuff?
What about them?
Where do I find them? How do I talk to them?
Well, you talk to them the same way you talk to anybody else, but good luck. I don't know where you find them.
Yeah.
And here's the thing my point is you don't go out looking for them. You just go about your fucking life.
Yeah.
And you start leading an interesting life and diversify your interests, just like an investment portfolio.
Mm.
And because listen, women are everywhere, literally everywhere.
You know what? One thing that's interesting about this, so this is gonna have me thinking about like millennials. Millennial men are like not having sex a whole lot, but millennial women are, but usually with older men. Why?
Well, yeah.
Older men have other experiences, and they're not just playing video games all day. That's the truth of
it. This is not a new phenomenon.
No, it's not. But it's
actually
like
interviewed
the amount that millennial men are being like skipped over. It's
because they're not interesting.
Exactly. I mean, if they're all playing video games, and this comes from someone who plays video games too. I used to play video games all day. Surprise, surprise. But it's like it's just. It's not really that interesting. I mean, even if a girl's like into WoW or whatever, what are you gonna do? Going to talk about WoW characters? I mean, where's that conversation gonna go?
Right. So I did an interview with a woman who was a professional matchmaker, and she had been complaining to me. I actually had first initially investigated her services as a potential client, and I was told, during those early conversations, and then later when I interviewed her for a magazine, that older men she can't get enough of. And I thought, well, is that because they're just not enough good guys around? She said, oh hell no, that's not it at all. It's because the younger women are also interested in the older guys.
Mm-hmm.
Up until, interestingly, she said, up until they turn 40, and once they reach 40, then they tend to stay within 5 years plus or minus of their own age. But prior to 40, they will be interested in the older guys. So what happens is you have the younger chicks and the 40 plus, 50 plus chicks all after the same pool of guys.
Yeah. I mean, I think, what's the reason for that? Life experience?
I'd have to go check my notes on that.
I was say just bullshitting right here. I think life experience would totally be a factor. I mean,
yeah, they're interesting, right? They've done shit, right? Older guys have done shit. They've been around. They know some things. They've got resources.
That helps too. They do have resources, have money, tend to. I mean, if it's an older bum, he's probably not going to. Actually, an older bum versus a younger bum, the older bum actually stands more of a chance. At least he has experience.
Right.
Right. That's something to talk about.
And so, and one of the things that makes them so obviously, like, and research bears this out. Every human male thinks that 20-something chicks are hot. It just never goes away. It never
Yeah.
changes.
Oh yeah, that's
No
not gonna
matter how.
change. It's in our DNA, man. It's in our DNA. You still there?
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah. And but one of the other reasons why younger women are appealing to um, older men, besides that they're, it's hardwired into us, is that the difference is that um, younger women, I mean, all the women up until they can't anymore, they have that drive for children,
Mm-hmm.
whether they, you know, decide for or against actually going through with it, but they have that drive. They want children. The difference is that once they cross 40, they want children now.
Yeah. That tends to happen.
And so the younger women, the guys can go, well, they're going to want kids, but not yet. And so they're less likely to press for a long-term relationship.
Yeah. Yeah. Of course, in other ways, the younger, they're hotter, smoking bods usually. So, all right. Sometimes like the whole kid thing probably. I mean, some people say it's a factor, and like maybe it's like subconscious. I don't know, but it's just like if they're younger, man, it's 20. Man, that's nice.
Look, we have in our deeply wired in our lizard brains, and you can't change this shit overnight. But deep down inside, or even below our subconscious, a man sees a healthy, viable young woman in her 20s, and that's like score.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Prime, recombination potential there.
Right. Yeah. Any other advice for incels or for getting with women?
Look. Consider women a subject to study, learn. I mean, you can't just go off of. Well, I mean, Jesus Christ! You get through high school, nobody's told you anything accurate about women and what they like and what they want and how they operate and how they think and what drives them and what motivates them, and nobody's ever told you any of that shit. And yet, you think you're supposed to just know it.
Right.
Guess what? Girls do too.
Yeah.
So
if they gossip, they talk about stuff. They're like, "Oh, have you tried this or that?" You see it in their magazines too. All the fucking magazines towards women.
Oh yeah.
Just take a look at one of those. You realize how insecure they are. You're like, "Oh God, they know nothing."
But they have this idea of what they want in a relationship, at least, and they have this idea of what they want their guy to be like.
Mm-hmm.
They think they understand guys, but they don't any better than the boys understand girls.
Right.
But guys, listen, it's on you. Swear to God. If you want to have a relationship with a woman and have it last any time at all, study them.
But not in a serial killer way. Don't like follow them with a notebook.
No. Again, no night vision goggles, no notebooks, no tracking schedules, none of that bullshit.
No peeping Tom. That would be find your drone to scout out their house or whatever. Not that I've done that or anything.
No tracking apps on their phones, any of that shit.
Yeah.
I'm saying studying women as a species.
Now, what about those who say that they're worried about like some sort of like #MeToo thing?
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
well, don't be an asshole.
Don't be an asshole. Yeah. Now, of course, there's the occasional story of like a bad situation, maybe mixed signals, or maybe the woman has some, maybe she's pissed off about something else. Okay, what, you're just gonna be celibate because you're afraid of that? Okay, what,
Yeah.
just you
Well,
cut off your balls?
yeah. Let me explain this. There's studying women is one half of the curriculum. The other half of the curriculum is studying something that's also not taught to you. That's how to be a man
Yeah,
and a gentleman at that.
a
And
gentleman, huh?
if you are a good, not a nice guy, but a good man, a good solid man who is a gentleman, there is no woman who's gonna me too all over you,
Mhm.
because
Well,
even if they
there might be
thought about
one.
it,
There might be one. There's always that one. The woman who, if you open the door for
uh,
her, because there's always an exception to the rule. If the woman that when you open the door for her flips out because of its patriarchy, you probably would just avoid her. Just be like, oh,
yeah,
okay, you're a Becky. You're worse than a Becky. You're a, I don't know what you are, but yeah.
yeah. So, a question from Raphael: how do you study women?
Well,
Well,
you take a
there's a
class.
lot. There's actually there are classes. Um,
You teaching it?
Not yet, but I've been it has been suggested to me. Um, hold on, I gotta remember her name. Alison Armstrong. If Alison Armstrong teaches courses and has written books that are written to women about men,
Yeah.
and they are a great way to understand women because you can see how women think about men and what they think about men and what they believe is going on inside of men, which gives you an insight to what's going on inside of women.
Yeah. Okay.
She's brilliant and funny, and she actually studied men for like 20 years, actually studied them, and didn't just go off of her favorite mythology.
How does she study them? Just observing?
Well, look her up, Alison Armstrong.
I gotta check her out.
She studied them in a lot of different ways.
In a laboratory.
Yes, Pavlovian tests. Yeah. That's just one example. Really, you can um, listen to them. Fuck, talk to them like
Mhm.
like a person. Get female friends and talk to them. Ask them questions.
Wait, you can get no way. You can get a female as a friend? That's possible? No way.
Yeah, and we're not and I'm not talking friend zone friends. I'm talking deliberate friends.
Oh, yeah.
By the way, friend zoning is a whole another kettle, um, which I'd be happy to get into, but when we're done with this one,
Yeah.
uh,
We can talk about that later on.
yeah, women make good friends if they trust you.
Hmm.
Be friends, and not that you're just lurking, metaphorically waiting for a chance to pounce.
Hmm.
But if you're interested in them as a person, it's really weird that if you start talking with women and getting to know them, they're almost like real people.
Right? Yeah. It's like surprise, surprise. It happens.
Oh,
But I know what you mean, man. Like in college, like because I was in in the psych program, I was surrounded by women. It was like all my friends were women at that point.
yeah.
It's like it was pretty cool. That was cool. Of course, my wife at the time, actually my fiance at the time, was not very happy with it. But I was like, oh hey, it was cool. I liked it.
Yeah, I've got a lot of women friends. I'm still friends with my ex-wife, um, and a few women that I've dated.
Now, one
It,
thing I could share that that probably may apply to some people who might be sexless virgins back in the day, or maybe they still are, whatever. As someone who was a sexless virgin during high school for the most part, okay, I'm just pretty much for the most of it. When you get to that point to where you do have a lot of friends that are chicks, you might the boundaries might be a little weird at first, but just talk to them. Just talk and be nice.
You don't get to be best friends over your first coffee.
No.
And don't expect that, but it's something, it's a trust you have to build up to. And trust is the key in all relationships. And if you can't create trust in someone who's just supposed to be a friend, then it's never going to happen in a romantic relationship.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I had lots of female friends when I was married, and my wife was fine with it. You know why?
Does she trust you?
Yeah. I tell her about it. Hey, I was talking to my old high school girlfriend, Peggy. Mm-hmm. Okay, say hi for me. Hey, I'm talking with my old pen pal, Sharon. Okay, say hi for me.
Mm-hmm. Hey, and if the trust is good, and then, I don't know, if the trust is real good, and certain things come up, there might be a chance. You never know. For two at the same time. Yeah, but that's not something.
You're dangling a threesome in front of guys who can't get a twosome.
I know. That's a whole other ball game, dude. That's interesting stuff. Oh, and Raphael says, "Oh, that doesn't really help him if you're a loser who can't have a friend of the same sex." But all right.
But you can.
You should just talk. I mean, I'm not sure why. I'm not sure if that's him personally can't have a friend. But
all right, so here's a story. So I went back to college when I was 32, in a different state, and I had a family. And so we show up with our trailer, and we move into a house. And we don't know anybody. We don't know anybody in the entire state. And so, after a week or so, we're going, shit, nobody's coming by the house. Nobody's making friends with us. What are we going to do? And we thought, well, there's two ways this could go. Mm-hmm. We could sit here and complain about nobody coming over and trying to be our friend, or we could be the friends that make the first move. And so we did.
Yeah.
And we made some really good friends during those years.
I know what you mean.
Because you can't, if you want to have a friend, you got to be a friend.
That's true. I mean, there's sometimes some people get caught up in the definition of a friend and what does it mean? Oh, are they really a friend? Because they're not doing this. Like, they have maybe an expectation of what they expect of a friend. Whatever. Like, are we friends? Or are we like just associates? Or do we just know each other? Or are we just neighbors? Or what are we? I mean,
yeah.
If you hang out and talk about stuff and you share beer together or whatever, you guys are kind of friends in a way. I mean, it depends on how much you know each other and if you trust. I mean,
right. Yeah. I mean, friends, if you can't make a friend, you're not going to have a lover.
Oh, that's definitely true. Let's work on friends. Let's make a few friends.
I mean, you know how they tell you after, I saw this in like one of those, alcoholic rehab movies where, you can't have a relationship until you can keep a pet alive for a year. And you can't have a pet until you can keep a plant alive for a year.
Oh, shit.
That kind of concept.
I can't grow a plant, but I can keep a pet alive. So I don't know.
Well, that's all right. I'm not so great with the plant thing either.
Yeah.
And speaking of the dog, I haven't seen her in days. Kidding.
You just open the door, they just run out, man. They never come back sometimes, It happens.
Or they do come back.
Oh, Jesus, yeah. The one with mange that just wanted to just get lost in the woods. Go out, go far. Oh, what about incels and film and movies and stuff? Like, are there examples?
There are. What was the other topic we set aside? Just a minute. A friend zone.
Friend zone.
Friend zone. Mm-hmm. Let's hit that first.
Okay, you want to do friend zone? Okay.
It's really pretty simple. And we'll actually be able to call back to this when we talk about incels in movies.
All right.
There's only one way to stay out of the friend zone. You gotta kiss her.
That's it.
You gotta kiss the girl. You know why? Because friends don't kiss.
Now, what if you feel like you missed the moment? Like, how? Okay, well, wait, back up. How do you know it's the right moment? Because some people are gonna be like, "Oh, I don't want to get #MeToo again. I don't want to kiss." Next thing she's like, some people misread signs, right? We're talking about socially awkward people who are gonna misread signs. I was one of them before.
Myself. I have missed opportunities several times in my younger life and not so younger life. So if you miss, sometimes you, honest to God, sometimes you get one shot.
Mm-hmm.
And the moment passes and it never really works out right again. Because there's so many moving parts, so many variables, and you just don't even know what any of them are.
Yeah, you don't, because it's like that. I think that's the part where a lot of people that fall in this category struggle with, because it's like, what am I supposed to read their mind, read their body language? Like, how am I supposed to know?
Is she looking in your eyes and your faces are reasonably close, right?
Mm-hmm.
All you got to do is, while you're looking, just very slowly start to lean in.
Mm-hmm.
And she'll either move towards you or move away from you. And there's your answer.
Now, here's the other thing. She might also be extremely socially awkward, because this happens, SK, in the anime community. This happens. There's people that are so socially awkward, well, they'll take a hug as assault. So if it turns out that she's that socially awkward, where you kiss her and it turns out to be something else, she thinks it's something else. I honestly, like, just
look. I'm not saying you don't
just walk away from that one.
You don't pounce on her, for God's sake.
No, don't. Oh, I'm talking about really socially awkward. Women,
I'm saying if you're sitting close and you're face to face and your eyes are locked and you gradually lean in, and she leans in also.
That is a universal sign. That is a universal sign, right?
Absolutely.
And there's a feeling you feel.
If she doesn't move at all, if she holds still or moves backwards, then you back off immediately.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
Right. Yeah.
And
you could reflect on the moments you missed. Be like, yeah, that was it. Especially, you messed up when you hear from her girlfriends, "Oh, you never kissed her." I'm like,
right?
Ah, damn it. That's what that moment was. Okay.
Yep.
Trial and error, man. It's like the moment in the car, you're looking at each other. I thought I was just giving her rides. Dude, I was so naive. And we're talking, keep in mind, we're talking to a lot of people who are naive and about this stuff. I was giving her rides after school a lot. And, we had a lot of conversations, but there was always that, like, multiple times where it's like that lingering looking at each other. Socially awkward Jesse didn't do anything because he didn't know, really, until afterwards. And that's how I realized, wait a second, that was that moment. That was that thing. And then later on, I didn't let it pass because I was like, this is the moment, and a different one. I want to seize the opportunity, and especially if she seems interested, and it worked out. But, I mean, you're going to learn. You can learn from it. And the only way you can is by making mistakes. Well,
Yeah, absolutely. You're going to make mistakes. You're going to miss opportunities. You're going to misread opportunities. You're going to think opportunities are there when they're not. And this is how you learn. I mean, Jesus Christ, you don't go into Little League without any practice and step up to the plate and hit a home run.
right? You got to practice a little bit. You got to play t-ball maybe first. I don't know.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, t-ball is like, playing with yourself.
Yeah. Yeah. You guys should probably have mastered that already.
Develop those skills. And part of developing skills is making fucking mistakes. And if you're unwilling to make a mistake, you're never going to grow. You're never going to develop at anything. And that's part of what infuriates me about these incels is they're not willing to make mistakes. And they blame their failures on the women.
Yeah. That's where incel takes on that other form that we're talking about. Like I said in the beginning, like we said, technically everybody's incel at one point, but
maybe most of them.
Right? But the underbelly of the definition, the darker side.
Yeah. Dark side.
Yeah. If you're that guy, you get rejected, and you're like, well, fuck you, bitch. I'm going to throat fuck you with my fist. Like, then you probably have incel in your blood. Okay? You gotta be careful.
That bullshit attitude is gonna come out in her presence at some point, and then she's gone.
Right?
You got to fix that attitude first.
Mm-hmm. Now you might find a chick who's into rough play, but that's a whole other thing, dude. That's a whole other thing. I mean,
that's not the same thing.
It's not the same thing. And first you have to become a friend. Then you have to become get connected. And then maybe get into that stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. That's another master level of trust there. And that's not even getting into legit BDSM.
No, that's
that. I don't know if you're aware, and I'm only aware through other people, but to be a dom, a legit dom, actually takes training for years.
I didn't know.
It's not a matter of watching a stupid ass movie and going, "Yeah, I'm a dom."
Where do you sign up for this training?
I don't know.
Incels should probably look into that. Maybe. Oh, I don't know. Just find out where you can sign up for that training. Maybe that'll help you. I don't know.
Oh, another good resource for guys who want to learn about women, and that is Dr. Robert Glover, and he wrote the book No More Mr. Nice Guy, which I couldn't recommend highly enough.
Robert Glover.
Robert Glover. No More Mr. Nice Guy. And he's got a ton of online courses. Geared, and he's a psychologist who specializes in single men. So he's a really great resource.
Cool. Gotta check that out. Yeah, Dr. Glover, because he's a psychologist.
Glove.
Yeah.
Yep.
All
right.
So
one of my favorite incels in film is in the movie Jerry Maguire. Now, you know who I'm talking about?
I think so. It's been a while since I've seen that movie.
The neighbor guy who does the babysitting.
Oh. Yeah, that's right. Hold on.
Right?
Wait. Dude, yeah, he was an incel, wasn't he?
Totally friend zoned, totally crushing on Renee Zellweger. Can't get the time of day from her except to babysit her little boy.
Yeah.
Totally friend zoned. I mean, it's classic. I mean, he's not the pathological incel.
Hmm.
He's just completely overlooked because he's a dork. I mean, not because he's a dork, but because he's uh, unsubstantial.
Right. He doesn't have anything to him. He's
No,
not. He's not interesting. He's not engaging with her at all. He's not even creating a conversation. Like if you just go in there and just talk about yourself, I mean, you got to get them to talk. You got to get them to open up.
right? Or something like that.
I mean, it's little things. I mean,
Right.
just start a conversation. Just talk. Like if you don't know anything about them, like the complete stranger, I don't know. Like I always found like ask. I know it might sound kind of metro, but I ask them about their shoes. And hey, I like your shoes or I like your hair.
No. Bullshit. Bullshit.
No,
No, don't
that
do
works. That works too. That works too.
Well, you gotta, the way to have a conversation, and this is true with anybody, is to get them talking about themselves.
Yeah. Oh, but
Ask-
but chicks
and
are
then-
into their shoes too.
No, but I mean, maybe as a starting point, but you got to segue that into something more substantial about themselves and not just about their appearance.
Oh yeah, we're talking about the initial icebreaker. Where you're gonna go walk up to me like, so tell me about yourself. Well, you know, it's
Well,
like okay,
That's way too open ended,
yeah,
right? You gotta do something much more specific, and don't do any bullshit pickup lines, because no pickup line works. Actually, there is one that works. It's called "Hello, my name is." That's all you got to do. Just introduce yourself, and then ask them something about themselves.
So coming up with some elaborate thing doesn't work, huh? It can be like,
You just look like an idiot, frankly.
maybe you show them something. Wait, sorry, I came out wrong.
Hey, yeah, that works, doesn't it?
Yeah,
You want to laugh?
like you show them a scar. I don't. That's horrible too. I'm thinking about these stupid plays people do. Bringing a dog. Well, if a chick sees you walking a dog,
Oh my god,
that
If
might
you've
actually
got
work.
Dogs,
Dogs work.
puppies are the best chick magnets in the world,
It works.
and
too.
I'm not exaggerating at all.
Mhm.
It's amazing, but that just gets them in your proximity. Then what are you gonna do?
Well, you could start a conversation about talking about your dog, and then you talk about them, talk about their pets. If they have pets, you get them talking, and then
Right.
you can move it to about them, about their pets, about what's going on with their life, stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's the thing. Whether you're talking to if you got some cutie in your friends list that you want to break the ice with, you got to have an opening, and it's not some bullshit. Hey, what's up? You're pretty.
Mhm.
That gets you flushed so fast these days. Women are so tired of that shit. You got to have not a gambit, but you have to have a opening question about them. And then you have to follow up and hold fucking conversation.
Yeah.
You got to listen. You listen to what their answers are so that you can ask more questions. And
That's
they'll come
basically
away.
it, man.
That guy's a great conversationalist. And all they did was talk about themselves.
Right.
Plus, you got a ton of information.
Mm-hmm. And hopefully, landed some way to contact him, maybe at another date or something. I mean, you got information that you can use. I mean, you're
Absolutely.
you're friendly with them.
But
Yeah, you got
here's
it in.
Tip: if you're setting up a date, doesn't matter if it's the 1st or the 17th. You ask a woman on a date, hey, you wanna? By the way, don't ever ask where she wants to go.
Yeah, don't do that. Don't do that. No,
You gotta
you tell
show
her.
a bit of assertion. You just say, let's go out Saturday night.
Yeah, I wouldn't even say would you like to. I'd say let's go out.
Yeah,
Because would you like to kind of gives more of an opening for her to go. I don't know.
right. And then if she comes back with I can't. Like, here's the point. How she responds to that, there's possible responses. One is, sure, let's go. That's easy. You're off to the races. Second answer is, I can't. How about Friday
Yeah,
instead of?
yeah,
You're all golden. But if she just says I can't, and then just leaves it dying on the floor like that, it's over. Just walk away. She's done. She's not interested.
yeah. She might have a boyfriend or something.
If she doesn't counter, if she truly can't meet you on a particular date, but she wants to see you, she will counter with a date that's open on her calendar.
That's true.
If she doesn't counter with a date that's open on her calendar, she's not interested. End of story. Move on.
Man, we make it sound so easy. And I say this, and it's coming from a guy who, when I'm talking about myself here, like I said, through my high school years, I was pretty much a virgin nerd geek dude who played video games all day and all that stuff. But like, I got out of that phase. I got out of it. I'm married, have kids. And before that, had multiple relationships, even had threesome once. So it went from a sexless, Pell video game obsessed version, who was trying all sorts of pathetic ways to get chicks. Thought, oh, maybe I'll find some gamer girl or something. It's like, dude, I grew out of that. I was like, okay, yeah, and it just got out there, start talking.
So you're married, so you're an incel a lot of the time.
That's true. Now I'm married, I'm an incel a lot. It depends. Depends on how bad I piss her off. I forgot to take out the trash. Oh man, I don't know. It depends.
Yeah, Raphael in the chat, is stating that he has zero social skills, and that can be due to a lot of different factors. Some of them are, it's called social skills for a reason. You're not really born with it. Some people have a much harder time learning those skills when compared to other people, and that has to do with brain function sometimes. And so I don't really know what's going on with that, but let's just say that you're not, if you're on the spectrum, you're not too far down it to where you can actually acquire those kinds of skills under the right circumstances. There are actually meetup groups for helping with that type of thing. So, and there are, I think there's some online courses and some other different ways to go about acquiring social skills in a semi-formal setting. There are more resources available now than ever before on any subject. So, don't give up hope. If that's something you're capable of learning, brain-wise, then there are ways to learn it.
Yeah. Also, I'm trying to reflect on how I've eventually figured it out, because, like, I feel like I'm talking about my past self here, and
all of us.
Yeah, but dude, I think I was more of a nerd than you, definitely. So, come on.
Well, yeah.
I don't know. I mean, it was a combination of just because I didn't take a class on how to talk or how to socialize with other people. I just, I picked it up from observing others. Of course, I did watch a lot of film. That's a bad idea, but I did pick it up eventually. What was it? I think my senior year of high school, I was getting out there more, just talking a little bit, just simple things. And then in college, just started just hanging out with people, just talking to them, and it really helps if you put yourself there and you do it. Now, if there's other factors, like maybe your hygiene's bad, maybe you put off a negative vibe, that could be a problem too, man. I don't know. There's all sorts of factors. Be fresh, look good. Like I tell you, I mean, be clean, smell decent, don't have BO.
Yeah, grooming. And, look, a girl's going to if you're going to meet a girl for coffee, I sort of got, if you're going to meet a girl for a first date-ish kind of meet and greet for coffee, she's going to spend an hour getting ready, even if she looks completely casual. She wants to see a guy sitting across from her who, as my oldest daughter says, Jesus, just look like you put in some effort.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, if you look like a slob, I mean, it's just they're not gonna be into that.
No. Make an effort. Look like you put in some effort for them.
Mm-hmm.
They put in effort for you. They want to see some reciprocity on that.
Right.
And it's not about changing who you are as a person. It's about growing as a person. It's like if you want to advance in your job and you're not real good at something, well, you figure out how to get better at it, right?
Mm-hmm. And
well,
I like what CJ brought up. I mean, he's like, there's too much thought and planning. I know what we're talking about. I mean, there's not really a lot of thought or planning. It's, it's very simple, kind of. If you want to bring it down to it, just engage with them, right?
Right.
Just engage with people, period. And that's you'll make friends that way, and increase your chance of getting a girlfriend, or things happen. If you stay to yourself, nothing's going to happen.
If think of it as acquiring a skill, you got to practice at it.
Yeah.
Relationships are a skill; they really are, and some people are very, very fortunate. They were raised in a very nurturing environment, and they had excellent examples for how to be in a relationship, how to acquire relationships. But that ain't most of us.
No.
The rest of us have to learn, and we have to, if we want to be good at it, then we have to study it and practice it.
That's right.
Just like any skill.
Yeah, just like every other skill, any other skill, you name it. Like, on this show, we talk a lot about writing. I mean,
but think about it from this other perspective. That's a really good thing. Because if you think of it as something that's just innate in some people and not in others, then it's very easy to say, well, I missed out.
Yeah.
I'm fucked.
And that's what happens a lot with these.
The good news is that's not how it is.
No, not
the good news is it's a skill. And if it's a skill, you can learn it. Now, it might take you a little longer to learn if you're an introvert versus an extrovert, but you can still get there.
Yeah. And what we talked about earlier too, I mean, just to remind everybody, when we say incel, like we said in the beginning, just about everybody is an incel at one point. We're talking about the I guess the more extreme versions, like when not just frustrated virgins, but frustrated virgins that channel that sexual frustration to a point to where I don't know, they get angry, not just at themselves, but at women or at men or whoever they're trying
They lash out.
desire. Yeah, they lash out,
Yeah.
and they think they're owed something, right? It's like at that
Right.
point, if you're in that mentality, if you're that far, my advice is like, I don't know if this will even work, but it just seems like, dude, just
Need new friends.
let go of your anger, man. I don't know. I wish it was that easy. If you're that far
No,
gone,
I mean, the first step is get new friends. Get away from those kinds of people who think like that and make different friends, and you will change your life.
but what if you are that person who thinks like that? What do you
That's what I'm
do?
saying.
Well, I mean, if you're that person, you can't get away from yourself. You know,
You got to get away from. You got to.
you
Um,
got to.
You got to. The easiest way to upgrade your life is to get new friends, better friends, and that's no joke.
But my friends
That's-
are on the internet. My friends are in like, my forums, my
Yeah.
image
Get away.
boards.
Get new information and get new friends.
Yeah.
That's the way that these incel boards are talking about women. It's not how things work at all.
Mm-hmm.
They have made up a mythology to explain their cowardice and their lack of skills,
Right.
and they're blaming everybody else. Take
Right.
responsibility for your life.
Yeah. Now, of course, there are levels where it's like we're talking about. Like there are some levels where it's like legitimate anger, like to a level to where maybe you could probably use some help. I don't know. Take care of some anger issues you got there. It's that's a whole other level, right?
Yeah. If
Any other fictional incels? Any other? Is Anakin an incel?
Yeah, he's got a lot of those qualities. He certainly, has the rage. But he was married.
Yeah, and he did produce kids.
Yeah.
He's not really angry at women though. He's not like he's not angry because he couldn't get laid. He's angry because he was supposed to be like, no, he's not an incel. He's just but he does have entitlement. Like he felt like he's owed something, but not sex. Right? He felt like he was owed like something else. Let's see. Jason Voorhees. He's not he's just a virgin. Right? I mean, Jason Voorhees is not an incel. He just hates sex.
For other people.
Right? Yeah. One thing that gets brought up is Travis Bickle from Taxi Driver.
Oh yeah.
Is he an incel? I mean, I know he's socially awkward, had a bad date. He has anger issues. But does his anger really stem from like his owed sex? Like is anger like directed at I mean, if you just would go on the literal definition, just involuntary celibate, then I guess he is.
But who? Yeah. But who's he? Who does he go around shooting after all?
Yeah, good point. Yeah.
What was the other movie I brought up? Trying to remember.
Gladiator.
The Emperor.
Yeah.
Total incel.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
And one of the ways you can tell is that he was, he was jealous.
Yeah.
Uh, um,
Oh no,
and just
I'm not
he
an
was
incel
jealous.
today. I'm not an incel today. I'm answering CJ.
Yeah, there's ultimate incel, and he was controlling of her, and he was jealous of her relationship with Maximus, and
Mm-hmm.
he tried to take him out so that he'd be out of the picture.
Right.
Yeah, this guy, ultimate incel.
Hmm. Yeah.
So in I am currently between regular partners at the moment, so I guess I qualify as an incel for the time being.
Yeah.
Um, I was married for a very long time. Still friends with my ex. Still, as I said before, um, still friends with several women that I've dated since then. And hell, I got women friends going back to junior high,
Mm-hmm.
um, who are still friends. I'm not. See, but the thing is that I don't have expectations right now.
Like, if you
Uh,
wanted to go out and get a prostitute, you could, if you really wanted to. I mean, I guess.
if I wanted to,
Yeah.
um, if I'm not actually putting any effort into finding a partner at the moment. So
Well, that
there's
happened
that.
with this guy too. Steve Carell's character in 40-Year-Old Virgin. I mean, I don't think he's an incel. I think he's more of just a virgin. That's what it is. Like, he didn't even try. He gave up. He just didn't care anymore. Like, at that point, it became, instead of being involuntary, he just volunteered. He's like, I'll just be celibate now. I'll just be a virgin. I don't care.
Yeah, honest to God, I'm really putting my efforts and energies into other areas, and trying to live a more interesting life. And at some point, you know, I'll cross paths with somebody who will be interested in me, and I'll be interested in her, and we'll
Yeah.
see what happens from there.
You are you painting miniature figurines?
Train sets.
With the lead paint, all right? You gotta make it worth it. Oh man. These chicks totally dig train sets. That's a whole other thing, right?
Let me tell you.
Hey, want to come home and see my train collection? Oh,
They
man.
would.
They would not be good. That would not be good. That would not be good. Don't try that.
Uh, I don't. Who are we talking about? In the chat here,
Oh,
and
hi
so
horse.
murdered.
Have you ever heard of the incel who murdered 4 black guys last year? Jesse P.S. I don't know. I'm not sure. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Okay. Yeah, I don't know who that is. I'm curious though, because SK has a show called Real Monsters where he talks about,
Yeah,
real monsters, and that's tomorrow, huh?
yeah. Tomorrow we're going to talk about. I think it's Samuel Little, who may be one of the most prolific serial killers in U.S. history.
Oh, interesting.
Most people have never heard of him. He's
I
actually
haven't heard
fairly
of him.
recent.
What's the body count? What are we talking about?
Approaching 3 figures.
Like
Yeah,
900?
in the
That's not 99?
in the 90s.
97. 97 bodies.
You're just guessing. Jesus.
Let's see. And, like what year? Like was he like in the 50s? Was he like in the 20s and the 50s?
No.
Recent?
Yeah, this guy is current. They're
He's
still
he's
on. They're still on they still uncovering information about his victims.
Wait a second. I heard of this guy in the news, right?
Yeah, he drew pictures. He did colored pencil drawings of his victims.
Okay. That's interesting. I like that.
So it's gonna be an interesting show tomorrow.
All right. And ladies and gentlemen, if y'all want to check that out, it'll be on the same channel, but at what time is it? 7 p.m., 7:30?
Yeah, 7:30 Central Time.
Look at that. Okay. Yeah. So check that out, guys. Yeah, so we're pretty much a very relaxed stream, just talking about incels and give them some advice, a little bit if we can help. Look, SK, he wrote a book on this. He's, well, not on this direct subject, but he knows what he's talking about. What I'm saying is coming from my experience. Look, I was, like I said, a sexless, pale, helpless virgin before. I somehow got out over that, right? And I still play video games. I still watch anime, but not much anymore. As embarrassing as that is. Yeah.
Hey, and I want to reiterate. CJ in the chat brought up a couple of times, and I absolutely believe authenticity is the greatest aphrodisiac in the world.
Mm-hmm. It helps out.
Yeah, no, it's the only way to. It's the only thing that works long term.
Well, what if you don't really have much in your life, but like you said, branch out? You gotta add more.
Yeah.
You gotta do something.
Go. If you're bored explaining your life, how bored is somebody going to be listening to it?
Yeah.
So go get something to talk about. Jesus.
That's why older men get it. That's why older men don't really have a problem getting women, because they have experience. And all right, ladies and gentlemen, I'll take it easy.